The story begins with our girl Hyo running as fast as she can, her face flustered and covered in sweat because she's terribly late for her interview at one of the biggest law firms in the country, the second largest in the entire market. Being even 1 minute late there is considered a cosmic disaster. She tries to run faster and faster until one of her shoes slips off, but she doesn't stop. She keeps going barefoot. When she finally arrives, the assistant tells her, "They just called your name," but adds regretfully that the group she was supposed to join is already inside. Hyo pretends to act cool, as if nothing happened, walks straight in, apologizes politely, and sits down. There are 4 lawyers sitting in front of her, ready to interview the applicants. Everyone seems to ignore her tardiness, except one lawyer, Yoon. He keeps glaring at her from head to toe, clearly annoyed by the coffee stain on her shirt and the tiny tear in her sock. He finally says coldly, "Excuse me, could you please step outside?" In a lawyer's life, even a single minute matters. The head interviewer interrupts, asking, "Wait, what exactly made you so late?" If there's a reasonable excuse, maybe we can reconsider. Hyo replies honestly, "To be honest, sir, I was reading at the subway station and got so lost in the book that I missed my stop." He smiles slightly and says, "I admire your honesty, but unfortunately, that's not an acceptable reason." Before leaving, Hyo looks at them and says, "I'll stay outside in case one of you decides to give me another chance." Later that day, attorney Kang tells the director, "Do you know that girl we just turned away? She's the same law student who won first place in the national merit competition." The director is surprised. Kang adds, "You remember her from that event? You were impressed by how she explained the case. You even said she was the top of her class. We offered her a position before, but she refused because she got an offer from Lee & So, the #1 firm. Realizing that, they agree she deserves another chance. It's just a 1-minute delay, nothing worth escalating." When the interview begins again, Hyo is joined by 3 other candidates. They're given 3 different cases and asked how they would handle them. Each time Hyo speaks, her answers impress everyone more than before. She sees things from completely different angles and knows the law by heart, like a born genius. By the end of the day, she returns home to her 2 roommates. One is Yunida, a doctor, and the other is Gina, a singer. They ask how the interview went, and she tells them, "Sadly, I was rejected because I was a little late. Someone left their book behind by accident, and I sat down to read it until I missed my stop. But suddenly, her phone buzzes. It's a message saying she's been accepted. She jumps with joy and shouts, 'I got in!' Later, she goes to the firm for the new recruits orientation. Each senior lawyer explains their department so the newcomers can choose where to join. She runs into her old college classmate Hyun, who's surprised to see her. "Wait, what are you doing here? Weren't you working for the rival firm?" She laughs and says, "That was a long time ago." He smiles and replies, "Wow, we were classmates in college and now we're colleagues again." She rolls her eyes and says teasingly, "We barely knew each other back then. Don't make it sound like we were close." When all the new recruits introduce themselves on stage, the senior lawyers follow, each promoting their department, trying to convince the newcomers to join them, except for Yoon. He stands up and says bluntly, "I'm Yoon, partner and head of the litigation team. If you're looking for work-life balance, don't pick my department. Here, your day starts at dawn and ends before sunrise. If you think you'll finish work by afternoon and go home early, you're dreaming. I've never managed that once in my life." His assistant looks like he wants to bang his head against the wall because he knows no one will join them after that speech. And indeed, every department fills up quickly, except Yoon's. When it's all over, Hyo quietly gets up, walks over, and stands in his empty line with a confident smile from ear to ear. Everyone stares at her in surprise. But the strangest part is that Yoon himself doesn't want her on his team. He tells the management that even if she were the last person available, he wouldn't take her. She came to her first interview looking messy with a broken phone, and late, he says, but then he mutters to himself, "Still, she's something special." He takes her to his office and asks, "So, tell me, why do you want to join our team?" She replies casually, "Because I want to have fun being a lawyer." Yoon stares at her, frowning. "Fun? This isn't a game," he says dryly. She grins and adds, "No, I mean it. People's problems are endless and they always turn to the law for help. I want to protect their rights. It's fun to me." He keeps staring at her, half amused, half amazed. There's something chaotic about her, but he senses potential. As they step out, she asks him, "So does that mean I'm in or not?" "You didn't say a word the whole time. Also, why do you look so serious all the time? And what's that smell? Is it your cologne or soap? It's strong." He laughs softly and says, "He's always been like that." He doesn't just care about personality, he cares about everything. Then he starts bragging about himself, saying, "When I was a rookie, I came in at exactly 8 a.m. and left at 6 p.m. every day for 2 years, and I still finished all my work." Hyo laughs, "Oh, come on, you're exaggerating." He insists, "I swear the entire company admired me back then." By midday, 3 more employees are added to Yoon's team. One of them turns out to be Hyo's old classmate Yoon. It's clear they were transferred there unwillingly, but they have no choice. Yoon gathers all 4 of them and takes them on a tour of the company, proudly showing off and telling stories like, "Back in my 2017 business trip to Germany, I did this and that." They force themselves to laugh at his words because they have no other choice. Suddenly, the lawyer Lena bursts in and confronts Kum, scolding him. "How is it that you still haven't sent me the case files?" "Until now?" Kum grabs the kids and leaves quickly before the man sees him. He's nervous and mutters, "That's the lawyer in charge of the divorce cases. She's one of the respected people in the firm. She and I came here together, though she's 10 years older than me. She only became a lawyer at 40. On the last day, Yoon holds a meeting because he has assigned each of them a case to evaluate how far they've progressed. As he reads their work, he realizes they still have a long way to go. "You know why I call the new recruits by name?" he says. "Because they don't yet deserve the title lawyer. Frankly, the degree you took at college is useless if you don't work on yourself afterward." Later, she goes to attend a meeting at a gas company called City. In the middle of the meeting, she senses something wrong with their commercial performance. When she asks one of the employees about it, he treats her rudely and says, "Who are you to pry into the company's affairs? Get out of here, Miss Busybody." Because she's a little curious, she can't let it go. She calls Yoon and says, "I finished the meeting, but there's something I need to look into first. Sorry, I'll be late." She gathers a few things and travels to Onbyung City to check out the public baths there and confirm what's been nagging at her mind. 2 days later, Hyun is sitting with the rest of the team and says, "I'm sure Hyo's disappearance these past 2 days is because she's stuck on something she wants to investigate. Ever since college, she could spend 3 or 4 days obsessing over a single case until she cracks it." Moments later, she returns. Her hair is wet and she looks exhausted. He runs to her and asks, "Where were you all this time? Come with me, quickly. If they find you absent without reason, they'll fire you." Seeing her drenched and worn out, he tells her, "Take the new recruit and walk her to HR. Get it sorted." She snaps back angrily, "We're in court. A judge won't issue a ruling until he hears the reasons. Why rush?" He thinks her reasoning makes sense and tells her, "You have exactly 2 minutes to explain everything." She says, "While I was at that meeting, I noticed company revenues have declined over the past 7 years, even though when I visited the public baths and gas-consuming venues, the gas seemed to be used normally. So what caused this drop in revenue?" He asks, incredulous. "So you disappeared for a few days to investigate public baths?" She answers, "Yes. I had to consult and confirm my suspicions. I also wanted to shower and relax a bit." He replies, "I hope you bring the summary because I'm starting to suspect you." When he reviews all her files, he confirms that the company installed illegal pipelines to divert gas to certain places illegally. He tells her, "You're lucky you came with useful information, but if this happens again, you will be punished." On the last day, Hyo goes to meet Han, her boyfriend from college who now works as a lawyer at the rival firm. He tells her, "I'm so proud of you. You proved yourself in the first few days. Honestly, I wanted you to work with me so I could see you all the time." She replies, "Tone it down and focus on work. I'm still trying to be calm in my professional life." He clings to her with romantic words, saying, "I give you top priority in my life." Afterwards, as they leave a restaurant, they run into his director, who introduces Hyo to him and says, "This is the girl I'm going to marry soon." The couple is shocked, but she just smiles and swallows the words. She wishes he'd keep quiet. The director continues, "She's a lawyer at Yule firm, and not only that, she's the daughter of Judge Ilo, and her mother is the well-known lawyer Choi." Hyo feels treated like an object of social prestige as they travel back. She asks Han, "Are you with her because of her social status?" He replies nonchalantly, "Do you think I'm with you for your social image?" No, of course not. I love you more than anything. Still, social standing matters a little. Don't I have to think about my kids' future and their place in society? Meanwhile, Yoon sits alone at home watching a video of his ex-wife and their dog back when their relationship was full of love and passion. At the same time, at Hwasun Maternity Clinic, a nurse sits with two people explaining that they can preserve their samples for any future time they want to have children by IVF. Suddenly, they hear someone shouting, smashing things, screaming, "You're the reason! You ruined everything! My life is destroyed because of you!" His rage grows, and he overturns a device in the lounge worth something like 600 million. Then Leo is explaining the new case to Yoon exactly. The lab is suing for compensation for the broken machine. Yoon asks, "Why would we take a case like this?" The accused has powerful connections in our firm. They tell him, "No, the problem is our boss has some issues with that lab. They wanted to cut us out and took their business to the rival firm." So Yoon says, "Fine. Go sit with the defendant, take two of the juniors, and find out exactly what happened." He grabs his bag and rushes home. The driver who works for our girl asks him, "Why today of all days are you leaving early?" He says he's going to pick up his son, which shocks her. We later learn he meant his dog, but he treats the dog like his child because the dog stays with his ex during the week and he gets him on his day off. Meanwhile, Hyo meets her boyfriend at a cafe. The atmosphere is super romantic. He pulls a small box from his pocket. When she opens it, it's empty. Then he suddenly opens his hand, and there's a ring. It's a silly, comedic moment. Everyone laughs. He proposes. She says, "Don't you think this is a little soon?" He tells her they've been together for 2 years and they've been friends since college. It's time. She replies, "I need to tell you something first." Back at the firm, Yoon returns the dog to the shelter because of the way things are going, and on the way he sees the same man who caused trouble at the lab trying to break into the place to steal papers and make a scandal. The plan is poorly thought out. Security catches him and hands him to the police for the second time. It's foolish and pathetic. At the police station, he refuses to speak. He says he doesn't need a lawyer because he already knows what they'll say, that he trespassed and vandalized private property, and that he'll end up in jail. Yoon replies, "You're right, that's what we'll say. But as a lawyer, I want to hear you. I need to know why you did it." The man opens up. He says he'd been storing samples in the lab to use for his wife's IVF. When the operation time came, they told him the samples were lost. They asked why he made such a big deal. Couldn't new samples be made? He explains that a year ago he had cancer. After surgery and treatment, he discovered he was infertile. He felt he had lost everything and needed revenge. We then see the lab director and Han's lawyer in Yoon's office to discuss whether to negotiate. They're surprised to find Hyo in the meeting too. They exchange pointed glances. The director now claims his client lost a lot and demands at least 500 million in compensation. Han shouts, "Are you out of your mind? Your client broke into a place and smashed an expensive machine. We are the ones seeking compensation, not you." It's clear the other side is stalling to buy time. Han decides to let them do what they want and meet in court. The next day, when they interview witnesses and review leads, they notice the defendant's reaction seemed exaggerated. Perhaps the mother's behavior caused the child's injury. They consider framing her for causing the trauma. Yoon goes to the head of Kang's office, who says, "I'm thinking of retiring. Would you take over the management of the firm?" Yoon replies honestly that it isn't a priority. The firm is barely staying afloat because of connections. Otherwise, it would have collapsed long ago. Meanwhile, Hyo is in the office with Kang, and his voice can be heard throughout the firm. He asks her what exactly she's done. She says, "He asked me to write the case article. I said fine, but have it written under my name. I don't want to work on something," and then he takes credit. Yoon overhears from a distance. Sensing the situation could escalate, he urges her to hurry so they won't be late for the meeting. At the meeting, they discover the schedule was set wrong on purpose so that the mother's lawyer could prepare the driver and groom him until he looks innocent. When Yoon enters, he finds the man on the ground apologizing. Yoon tells him to get up and leave the matter to him. He asks, "Why are you trying to expose the man? Did you look into the child's mind and find that the trauma came from the car and not the mother's shouting?" And then moves on. Hyo goes to the hospital to see the doctor in charge of the child's case and finds out the boy is already seeing a psychiatrist, but there are no detailed medical records. Hyo meets her friend the doctor by chance and, after explaining the situation, the doctor says that if there are no records, it's likely the boy has a mental disorder linked to excessive attachment to his mother. The apparent paralysis could be a psychosomatic response to shock. When Hyo returns home, Han is waiting for her. He says he tried to call many times, but she seems to be ignoring him. She replies that the woman with him at the restaurant didn't like the scene, so Han asks for another chance and apologizes. She tells him to stop the theatrics and walks away. Later in the kitchen, she finds her plate missing. Her roommate tells her the mother of their roommate came by and cleared out the fridge. When Hyo found her plate broken and thrown in the trash, she's furious. She goes to the mother's house and confronts her. "Who gave you the right to throw away my plate? Anything with a defect we toss in the trash, but you've treated your daughter like she's disposable because of her disability." Her father cut in, "That's no way to speak to your mother, Hyo." When the court day arrived, Yoon pressed the boy's mother hard, pushing her to lay everything out until she finally broke down and screamed, "You don't know anything. I sacrificed my whole life to raise my only son." He answered, "You're a selfish woman, treating your child like a doll until he's become obsessed and unwell. He'll spend his life shackled by your hands." The driver was acquitted, but Hyo was furious at Yoon's harshness. "Do you have to wound her to win?" she asked. He replied, "Some mothers use the title mother to get whatever they want, and I didn't ask for your opinion. Don't overstep." That evening, Hyo found Yoon making coffee. She tried to soften the moment. "I'm exhausted. Can I have a cup?" "You'll get a blessing for it," she joked, then added, "I'm sorry about earlier. Honestly, it felt like your words were aimed at my mother." She told him about her life with her twin, how her family's pressure to be full option all the time had broken her, how she feared her mother would abandon her, like she had her sister. "I had a breakdown," Hyo said. "For 3 years I couldn't even string letters together." Yoon frowned, "But you graduated at the normal age." She explained that during her senior year chaos, she joined a talent program and ended up compressing 2 academic years into 1. Later, Yoon stood by the window, remembering his marriage, the day he found a pregnancy test in the trash, how he'd rushed to his wife excited, asking, "Are you pregnant?" She had tensed and said, "I was. I just came from the doctor. And didn't we agree? No children? So why are you backing out now?" The next day, the firm's chair summoned Yoon. A well-known businessman named Ko demanded Yoon personally take his case. "I want to sue for defamation," Ko said. "My housemaid claims I beat my 6-year-old daughter." "Is that even sane?" Yoon asked if she had evidence. "Yes," Ko said, "photos of bruises. But you know AI now. It can fake anything. Curse social media, handle it quietly, threaten her if you must, just keep it out of the press." Yoon accepted, strange since he usually refuses cases involving violence against people or even animals. Hyo went to hear the maid's side. "I did it because I pity that child," the woman said. "One day I found her hiding in the wardrobe. Her whole body was bruised. Her father brings a private doctor to treat her in secret." Hyo returned to the office seething. "You're defending a man who tortures his daughter. Where's your conscience?" Yoon sent her back to work. A little later, Lee, on Yoon's team, told her, "That maid has prior theft charges. She's probably extorting him." Hyo apologized to Yoon for her outburst. He said, "Even if the maid's a thief, that doesn't prove the father is innocent." Yoon bought a toy and visited Ko's home. "Consider this settled," Ko said, "but I'd like you to see my daughter." The girl was so frightened she hid behind the maid. When Yoon approached, she flinched and threw up her hands. The next day, at a meeting, Yoon laid out the maid's record. She'd once tried to steal 50 million. "If we keep digging, you could spend the rest of your life in prison," he warned. "Sign this withdrawal and leave. You're out of your league." Hyo was appalled. "You're sure he beats his daughter, yet you sided with him?" Yoon explained. "Men like him don't go to jail for this. He's too connected. If he senses trouble because of his daughter, he'll get rid of her easily. I'm not angry at you. I'm telling you how it works." After that, Yoon disappeared from the office. Hyo grew suspicious, asking everyone if they knew anything. When he finally returned, Ko called in a panic. "The police are pounding on the door." Someone reported me. "I can't let them in. My daughter isn't in a good state. You know everything. Come now." Yoon grabbed Hyo and hurried over. "Where is she?" he demanded. "We're taking her to a doctor. Leaving her here is evidence by itself." Ko laughed like a madman. "I knew I chose right," he said, scooping up the child and racing to the hospital. The doctor said she needed immediate surgery. Overwhelmed, Yoon jumped in the first taxi back to Ko and beat him senseless. Ko's boss arrived. "Didn't you say you'd solve this without dirtying your hands? Leave this to us." Only then did Hyo learn what Yoon had been doing all that time, quietly gathering proof that Ko was embezzling from his boss. He'd made a deal, return the stolen money, and the boss would remove Ko for good, freeing the girl. Hyo was moved by how fiercely he'd fought for her. They stayed until the surgery succeeded. "By the way," she told Yoon, "I'm sure you're a great dad to your son." "Son?" He blinked. "You always leave early on Fridays. For your boy, right?" He smiled. "That's my dog. I pick him up from my ex every week." Relief washed over her, so he wasn't married. Ko took a brutal fall, his mind rattled, and he went to prison for embezzlement. His daughter finally returned to live with her mother. The next day, a group of friends gathered at a woman's house, each peering into the other's lives. The hostess bragged about a new painting by the artist Guan, titled Vista. "I paid $3 million, she preened. One friend punctured the show. "Are you sure it's original?" "I've got the same at home, bought it at the public market for $300,000. Don't start your usual stories, I still remember your school days tricks." The room flipped into a duel. Which painting was real? Meanwhile, Yoon sprinted to the animal hospital after a call. His dog was sick. There he ran into his ex-wife's husband, once his best friend. "Wasn't it enough what you did to me?" the man snapped. "I barely left my wife and you went for her." A fight nearly broke out, until the woman they were fighting over walked in. "Enough of this childishness," she said, perfectly composed and pregnant. Yoon reeled. She sat with him later. "Honestly, I changed my mind when I hit my 30s. It wasn't you, I was just off track. But as you can see, I married your friend. No time for regrets." Artist Guan showed up at Han's office. "Some young girl made a painting similar to mine and sold it for less than half the price. I want to sue." Not long after, Hyo's twin messaged her, "My friend Jong is being sued by a famous artist. Please help her." Sent her all the documents. Hyo realized the case had been running for a while and the girl was completely in the dark. "If I don't file for a postponement right now, they'll convict her in absentia." She sprinted to court and filed, only to find she'd just volunteered herself to take the case. She returned to Lee with her head down. "I messed up?" Yoon took her under his wing. "You have 1 week." He pulled the whole team in to train her to stand before a judge. When Han learned Hyo would argue, he told his associate, "You'll take it. I won't lower myself to face a first year, but listen, if you lose to her, you'll cost me half my face." The night before trial, Hyo wanted to bang her head against a wall from nerves. She spotted Yoon and ran to him like a child. "Please help," he said. "As long as you see the opponent as a great artist and assume Jong stole from him, you'll never defend her with a steady heart." He stayed up all night coaching her. In court, Guan strutted, showing off degrees and prestige. He boasted he painted the work when his son was born. "I felt divine inspiration. It was like a ceremony." Everyone was convinced. With that confidence, how could he not be the original? Hyo asked Jong, "Why did you draw this piece?" Guan laughed, mocking the word artist. "Where did she graduate from exactly?" Jong unraveled. Words failing, she ran to her mother. The judge granted a break to restore a little dignity. That's when Hyo discovered the shock. Jong has an intellectual disability, her mental age around 13. Her mother was determined no one should know. "I just want my daughter to live like anyone else." When Han learned this, he told his lawyer to keep pressing Jong until she confessed, even if it wasn't true. And that's what the lawyer did, pushing and pushing, until Jong finally broke and whispered, "Yes, I stole it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Hyo freezes, not sure what to do. She even thinks about ducking under the table in front of her. Then she remembers Yoon's words, "Forget the bias and trust your client." She asks for a short break so everyone can have lemonade and calm down. Attorney Kang pulls her aside. "Listen, leave this case to me. I'll handle it." When she resists, he yanks her by the wrist. Yoon sees it, strides over, peels Kang's hand off her and says, "Know your place, unless you want this to be your last day here." Hyo sits with Jong. "Look, I'm your lawyer. Whatever you tell me won't leave this room. Only the 5 people in court will ever hear it. Trust me." The reassurance steadies Jong. She opens up completely, and Hyo finally pieces the whole case together. Back in court, Hyo calls Guan first. "One question," she says lightly. Are there any faces hidden in your painting? Anywhere? He stiffens. No. Thank you for the honest answer. You can sit. Then Hyo brings Jong forward. Tell us exactly what you drew. Jong says, my father's face. The courtroom murmurs. It looks like wild color splashed everywhere. Jong explains, Mom doesn't like Dad because he left us, so I had to hide his face. It only appears when the lights are off and a direct beam hits it. They dim the lights and shine a focused lamp. Her father's face emerges from the pigments, and astonishingly, the same hidden face appears on Gwan's painting as well. Gwan realizes how foolish he now looks. He erupts, shouting that he has the right to steal freely, raging about how someone like Jong could possess such talent until the whole thing unravels for him. Later, Hyo leaves the courthouse with her team, who came to cheer her on, when Yoon calls out, "Counselor, your medal fell." The words land like a recognition at last. She feels seen. The next day, the company gathers everyone. The chair announces, "Today is my last day as managing director. I've appointed attorney Na to succeed me." Shock ripples through the room. Na used to work there years ago, but the chair's son, Kion, pushed her out for being too principled, sabotaging her from the shadows. Bringing her back this way stuns the entire firm. Kion storms into his father's office. "Am I missing an arm or a leg? Why give leadership to someone else?" His father asks, "Who even knows your name beyond me? We need someone who can rebuild from the bottom up. When the house stands again, we'll take it back ready-made. Be a good son, sit quietly, and watch." Attorney Liana walks into a client's office and finds her husband's mistress waiting. "What are you doing here?" Liana asks. The woman says, "When I saw your photo, I didn't recognize you. You've completely changed. A real glow-up." "I want you to handle my divorce," Liana bristles. "Are you insane? Who told you I'd take the case of my husband's mistress? Don't show me your face again." She leaves. A flashback hits. 10 years earlier, Liana weighed over 100 kilos, did nothing but eat, and was mocked day and night by her husband and mother-in-law, humiliation without end, until her husband cheated and told her, "We should divorce. I can't live with both of you under one roof." Chairwoman Na meets with Yoon. "We need a solution to the chaos in this firm." Yoon says, "Cut the top salaries. They crush the juniors' pay. No wonder we can't keep a new team." At midday, Yoon is with his team when Haeun ventures, "No disrespect, but every other team has gone out together 4 or 5 times. We've never done it once." Boss Yoon pulls out his card. "Go unwind properly." That night, on his way home, Yoon gets payment alerts. Curiosity pushes him to swing by. Before he steps out of the car, he sees Hyo, barely keeping her balance from drinking. She runs to him. "Why are you so late? We've been waiting since morning." He drives her home, hands her his handkerchief to wipe her face. She smiles. "You know I love your cologne." The next morning, Hyo wakes with the handkerchief in her hand, remembers, and wants to bury her head in a cactus from embarrassment. Yoon wakes up on Liana's couch. "You were drunk," she says. "Why did you keep calling me all night to come pick you up?" Chairwoman Na calls an all-hands meeting to announce the salary cuts. The office explodes, accusations of scamming fly, until she reaches her limit and blurts, "One of Kang's junior attorneys has been going to Yoon's house." Someone is photographing them together. Kwon wants any dirt he can use to take Yoon down. Kwon holds a secret meeting with Kang, shows him the picture, and says they need one more trap. Fabricate documents to make it look like Yoon is circling the junior to steal important case files. Meanwhile, Yoon is at the airport just back from a business trip when he sees a former client being detained. The man is accused of pushing his wife toward ending her life. She had Alzheimer's. Her mental health was shattered. She no longer recognized him. She told him plainly, "I want to go to Russia to die, the only place that allows it." He tried to stop her, but in the end, chose to respect her decision and traveled with her. Her brother insists the husband wanted her gone for her money, especially since he'd cheated before. In court, Chan admits he cheated, but says the affair ended the day he learned of her illness. He confesses to seeing someone briefly, thinking she no longer loved him, not realizing she was sick. He refused to leave her and stayed by her side until she decided she didn't want him to see her lose the ability to move or live on her own. He gets a 1-year sentence. What they did is illegal in many countries, Korea included, and in the Arab world, strictly forbidden and punishable. Yoon drifts into memory. He once came home and found his wife with another man confessing love. He played dumb and waited it out, then walked in. Later, she said, "Our relationship is so dull that even seeing me with someone else didn't spark a reaction." He told her, "I trust you." The butterflies and fireworks ended long ago. What we have now is companionship, love, respect, and quiet. She insisted, "That's called boredom." "I don't want this snapping back to the present," he calls her, meets her, and says, "I just handled a case where a man believed he'd gone through every stage of love with his wife. You once thought love had only one shape." She slaps him lightly. "I told you, I changed." "I wasn't mature back then," he answers. "I'm tired of our memories. Honestly, I don't want to see you again," and leaves. That evening, Hyo sneaks into Yoon's office and starts mimicking his mannerisms until he pops up from behind the chair. "Done?" She jumps. "You were here? Come on, let's have tea." She confides, "After our last talk, I felt wrecked, but kind of healed too. You could talk to him as well, you know." He tells her about his wife, how her absence hollowed him out, how he used to come home and talk to empty air as if she were there. "I've moved past most of it," he says, "but I still can't stomach the leftover emptiness." The words on Hyo's tongue are obvious. "A nail drives out a nail. I'm right here." But she swallows them. The next day, Kwon convenes all the firm's attorneys, everyone except Yoon. He projects photos of the junior lawyer arriving at Yoon's house and brandishes forged documents to make it look like Yoon exploits her to steal case files, perfect scandal fuel. Yoon walks in. "No explanations, here's proof." The files Kwon submitted still carry the hidden user stamp from their system, belonging to one of Kang's own lawyers. It was an internal setup. As for the junior visiting Yoon's home, she'd come to file a harassment complaint. Kang regularly takes female attorneys to secret bar meetings with clients. If any woman speaks up, he acts oblivious. "Calm down, it's business," until finally he threatened her. "If you don't play along, I'll smear you as a married man's plaything, and everyone will believe me." She gathered everyone and raided the bar during one of these meetings and caught him red-handed, sitting with a hostess stick in hand, the whole operation sleazy. She slapped him across the face in front of them all. "Your resignation, tomorrow." Kwon panics. He's implicated and slinks to Yoon. "Can we pin all of it on Kang?" Yoon agrees, on one condition: whatever you see me do, good or bad, you didn't see anything. Lee notices Liana has gone radio silent on him. No matter how he circles, she keeps brushing him off. "Busy. Can't hear you." Didn't notice Hyo gets a frantic call from her doctor friend Unita. Her sister Sue, the TV anchor, has been arrested after catching her husband and beating him so badly he's now in the hospital. They're going to jail her. Digging into it, they learn Sue has been seeing a psychiatrist. She's been enduring domestic abuse at home for more than 10 years. Hyo tries to understand exactly what happened. The woman says, "It's the medication. As soon as I take it, I forget everything that happens afterward. When I come to, the place is wrecked, everything broken." So she decided to install cameras at home to see the truth. The footage showed the drug throws her into a violent rage where she releases all her bottled up pain, then later forgets it completely. "I took it on purpose," she admits, "to make my husband taste what he used to do to me." Hyo pulls Unita aside. If she took the drug voluntarily, the charge will stick. But Unita replies, "No one knows that but you and me. We can let it slide, pretend you never heard it." Torn, Hyo goes to Yoon. "My conscience won't shut up. I don't know what to do." He tells her, "I won't meddle with your principles. If it were me, I'd hunt for any legal gap that protects the person who deserves protection." That's exactly what Hyo does. She meets Sue and says, "Please, what you confided to us must not reach the court." In the end, thank God, Sue is acquitted. That evening, Hyo thinks, "I forgot to thank Yoon," and uses it as an excuse to drop by his office. Without you, everything could have blown up. Meanwhile, Chairwoman Na gathers the high-paid senior attorneys, the ones doing almost nothing of value, and promotes them straight to partner. The twist? Their income will now come only from the cases they personally win. It's a clever way to shrink the salary bloat and stop the firm from bleeding money. One department head decides to get crafty. He invites Na to a business dinner and brings along a newly minted attorney. "This is Sion, my team's legal assistant, one of our rising stars." Throughout the meal, Sion shamelessly flatters Na. "What a privilege to dine with someone of your caliber. It's all a setup to manufacture a scandal." Around the same time, Lee corners Liana. "When did you decide to cut me off? You don't call, don't meet me, nothing, and honestly, I love you." She says, "Is this pity? I'm 7 years older than you. Wake up," and walks away. Later, Hyo and Yoon are in the car when Choi from their team calls Hyo. "Can you please check on my twin sisters? I've got an emergency and won't be back until late." Yoon goes along. At first, the twins eye him like he's some evil boss, but he wins them over, takes them to their favorite restaurant, plays with them until they cling to him and beg, "Stay until we fall asleep." Hyo watches, thinking, "There's nothing wrong with this man. Nothing." The next day at the office, Hyo is sipping coffee when a police officer calls. A detainee named Mi insists Hyo must defend her. At the station, Hyo learns that Rang attacked a woman, smashing a rock into her head, then, panicking, drove away. Fate intervened. While reaching down for her lighter as she drove back, she heard a thud, stopped, and found she'd hit the very same woman. Hyo can't see why Mi requested her by name. Back home, she combs through old memories, trying to recall any connection. That night, Lee shows up at Liana's place. "I'm not leaving until we clear the air. I'm not planning to be with anyone but you." Elsewhere, Choi wakes from a nightmare, haunted by school bullying. When Hyo visits, Choi points to a burn scar on her face. "This is from the girl I hit. And by the way, you're part of why this happened. To atone, you need to find a way to get me acquitted." Back at the office, a woman rushes Hyo and throws a cup of coffee in her face. "How can you defend the person who killed my daughter?" Yoon steps between them. The shock knocks loose Hyo's own memory. In high school, Choi was tormented by her friend Ji, while Zoo, pretending innocence, looked the other way. One day, Ji crossed the street and dropped her phone. Hyo's mother found it and saw the videos documenting the abuse, but Ji's mother was well connected. She went to Hyo's mom and said, "If my daughter is exposed, I can't promise your daughter won't suffer the same." Hyo's mother swallowed her outrage. Choi quit school. Ji moved abroad. The case died. As usual, Hyo seeks Yoon's counsel. He says, "We have to separate the incidents. Charge Choi only for the rock assault. As for the car, green light the victim chose to cross, the death was fate, not intent." When Hyo hears that, she brings all the bullying videos. She'd kept them for years. Guilt had finally cut through her. In court, Choi gets a reduced 1-year sentence. Afterward, Hyo heads to the rooftop to clear her head from all the recent chaos. Yoon joins her and offers a few words of praise. "Your argument today?" 10 out of 10, with a star she's moved, tosses him a few playful jabs, and leaves smiling. The next day, Yoon goes to pick up his dog, but it's his ex's husband delivering the pet. "We need to talk," the man says. "My wife came home devastated after seeing you and hasn't left the bedroom. I'm planning to take a final sabbatical and move us to Singapore." Yoon stiffens. If they leave, how will he see Chow, the dog? "If you insist on going," he says, "I'll file to block the departure." Back at the office, a new client walks in, odd, overeager. "First time I've seen a lawyer," he grins. "Mind if we take a selfie?" Yoon humors him. The man explains, "He bought a new phone and sold the old one without wiping it. An employee found my videos and reported me." "What videos?" Yoon asks. "I should show you, and the lady lawyer, so you can judge." The clip plays. Hyo's face drains. The man is a psychopath who tortures animals on camera. Yoon quietly tells Hyo to step out, then to the client, "We won't defend you. The employee was right to report you." He tells Lee, "We'll defend the whistleblowing employee and loop in animal rights groups." The next day, Hyo steps into the elevator and finds the same creep beside her. "Do you keep a dog too, like the lawyer?" he asks. She nearly wants the earth to swallow her. When the doors open, Yoon is there. He hauls the man out and hands him to security. This one never sets foot in the firm again. That evening, Hyo gets a call. A teammate has fractured her leg in a minor accident and had promised to take her 2 sisters out on their day off. "Can you help?" Hyo loves a challenge. She phones Yoon. "No disrespect. Could you come with us from early morning?" Yoon drives them to the park where he always takes his dog. They spend the day playing. Meanwhile, Seon, the junior the manager pushed toward Na to create a scandal, sits sweating at his computer. He had lured Na to a hotel, but walked into a trap. She had already alerted Yoon. "Did you think a married woman would play that game?" Yoon offers him a choice. "Hand over every document you've got, and I'll let you stay here long enough to prove yourself. Stick with your handlers, and I'll see you expelled from the bar." Seon picks survival and turns over the files. That night, Yoon goes to collect his dog. Hyo follows with gifts for Chow, including a GPS tag. "Mind if I come? I miss him." At the clinic, the receptionist says someone has already taken the dog. At that exact moment, Yoon gets a message from the psychopath client. Chow is with him. Yoon is shaken and at a loss, until Hyo pulls herself together, remembers the address on the man's paperwork, and steers them there before he can spin in circles. They arrive to find him waiting outside with Chow in his arms. "I knew you were sharp enough to track me down," he smirks. "If you'd just worked with me from the start, we wouldn't be here." Hyo negotiates calmly. "Give us the dog, and we'll defend you." His twisted pride takes the bait. He hands over Chow. They rush the dog to the hospital, confirm he's stable, leave him with Yoon's ex, then Yoon grabs the first taxi back to the creep, determined to make him feel what he made those animals feel. He beats him until the police, already watching to arrest the man, move in. Outside, they tell Yoon the charge. The suspect assaulted an elderly man. Yoon heads to his ex's place. "Is Chow okay?" "Under control," she answers, then adds, "Did you really file to block me from traveling with him?" Yoon's voice hardens. "You think I'll trust you after how easily you got rid of our son?" She exhales. "That's only half the story. I wanted to keep him, but I learned he would be born with a disability. I couldn't, and you tell me now?" he says, walking out. Hyo is uneasy, calling him again and again until he finally picks up. She finds him later, passed out where he'd been drinking, knuckles split from the fight. She runs to a pharmacy, buys ointment, cleans and wraps his hand, and stays until he stirs. In the morning, he wakes to a bandage and a small note in her handwriting. An assistant pops his head in. Yoon's ex is downstairs. She says she's ready to leave Chow with him, on one condition: put someone in your life, get married, enough of this living alone. Hyo's next client arrives seeking a divorce. "Ours was a paper marriage," the woman says plainly. "We married only to have a child. We even wrote a contract, no falling in love. But now he wants a real relationship. He says he loves me." Meanwhile, Yoon signs up for a 1-week Find a Partner program, for Chow's sake as much as his own. Soon after, Lee gathers Hyun and Yoon. "I've decided to marry." Yoon asks, "Isn't it a bit soon?" Lee shrugs. "Every time she remembers I'm younger, she panics and tries to back out. I need her by my side." With earthly solutions exhausted, they spend the night together drinking and talking. On court day, Hyo faces her ex, now counsel for the other side. Mid-argument, he makes it personal. "So you think it's fine to marry without love?" Hyo answers steadily, "Yes, if both spouses share a purpose." The judge cuts in. "Please leave your personal issues outside and stick to the case." After the session, the ex corners her. "I've been going on blind dates and I keep asking myself, why did I treat you like that? Could you give me another chance?" She says, "No, I wouldn't tie myself to a man like you," and walks away. That evening, Hyo goes to her own blind date and discovers it's Yoon. He stiffens, calls the agency. "Why pair me with someone 10 years younger and never married?" He's about to leave when she smiles. "At least have dinner." "I didn't do my hair and wear a new outfit to eat alone." They spend the whole evening together. By then, Hyo has gathered documents that could bury their enemies. She sits down, Arab style, with the chairman. "If I'm running this place, give me full authority to clean it out. Otherwise, we all sink." He nods without fuss. "Show me." Later, Lee brings the team to the rooftop, flowers, candles, the city breathing beneath them, and finally proposes to the woman he loves. She says yes. After the celebration, Hyo finds Yoon. "Thank you for standing by me. Without you, I'd never have steadied myself enough to become a real lawyer or to understand love. So tell me, what is love to you?" Yoon pauses, says nothing, and hands her a pair of novelty glasses filled with hearts and butterflies. And that's where our drama ends today. Subscribe for more videos like this one. Tap the bell icon to get the updates. Thanks for watching.